Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Poindexter Effect. I am your host, Natalie Poindexter. And y'all, I wanted to take a moment seriously to have a conversation. And it's a conversation that I think a lot of us are maybe unsure how to have or a little bit worried about having out loud. And it's about navigating grief. One of the things that I have been learning to understand and navigate on my journey recently has been loss and grief, both of things that I truly care about, like my animals, and then other things that are more materialistic and tangible, even like throwing away books that I've had for years, or notebooks, right, of notes from being an EMT that I'm not anymore. So there really wasn't a reason for me to continue to hold on to them, but for some reason I did, right? And I think of the term of like spring cleaning, right? And we go through and we remove things, but this is deeper. I moved from Columbus, Ohio to Austin, Texas with materials that no longer served me. And I did it because I had space in the moving truck, really, right? No other reason. And I'm sharing this because it's something that even as an EMT, knowing the stages of grief, it still very much so has affected me. And I just kept asking myself, what am I going to do? How am I going to navigate this? How should I talk about this? Should I talk about this? What will happen if I talk about this? And I decided to just get out of my own way. And I started writing and journaling, in the format of journaling, but also going back to things that were really fulfilling to me, but I had been told and conditioned, you're not a writer, you're not a creative, that's not going to make you any money, says the Toni Morrisons of the world, R.I.P. But you know what I mean? It's very much so this conditioning of what I wasn't. And I happened to come upon something from when I first was published, which was many, many years ago. I haven't aged a day over 25, so I won't say what year it was, but I was much younger than I am now. And I remember submitting my very first poem to this group called I'm looking at it now, the Anthology of Poetry by Young Americans. And here it is. Check it out. No shade. It's the 2000 edition if you want to go and find it. Anyways, so I said, let me go back and see what I wrote. And I'm like, oh man, I don't know what page it's on. There isn't an index. How will I find it? And y'all, my piece is on the front page. My piece that I wrote and submitted and was published amongst these other phenomenal humans is on the front page. And so I wanted to read this. I wanted to read this because I don't believe in coincidence at all. And it just so happens that this piece says so much more than I expected it to. So, Polly the Perfect is the title. Polly the Perfect is a little girl who knows much more than I. She knows her 1s and 2s and 3s, along with her 4s and 5s. She'll tell you about her alphabet and her beautiful makeup set. She'll read you one of her books with the big words in it and tell you a story she knows in a minute. But then one day, Polly the Perfect went away and didn't say goodbye. She didn't come to school that day or even come to play. She thought no one would realize that she wasn't there, So she stayed at home all alone with Om Shalom. He asked, why did she think that no one cared and why she stayed home? She said with a shaky voice and a quiet reply, no one likes me anymore. And this is what made her cry. Y'all, 13-year-old Natalie wrote that. And let me tell you what I was going through. Because I've had to read that piece over and over and over again. And at first I read it and I was like, Jesus, why was I so dark and dramatic? I mean, I'm still very dramatic, but why was I so just blessed? And really what it was is that 11 and 12-year-old Natalie had gone through 3 deaths of grandparents and an uncle. And no one talked to me about it. No one helped me process anything about it. No one gave me guidance on how to deal with it and what to feel and what to say and how to ask for help or support. And I very, very vividly remember writing this. I remember sitting at the desk in my literature class and writing this. And I look at it now, and the part that I think we all can maybe resonate with or even just embrace is this piece when we were a kiddo, where we had this moment, and even in adulthood, where we're like, no one likes me anymore. And hell, I don't even know if I like myself. It is one of the most tough things that we have to navigate, unfortunately, and oftentimes, sometimes alone. So I wanted to share this and say a couple of things. 1, you're not alone. I'm not alone. 2, sometimes it's genuinely, truly, honestly, just saying out loud, hey, what do you think of grief? Right? I also read a book recently called How to Fix a Broken Heart by Dr. Guy Winch. And very good book, 100 pages, super short read. But it starts to talk about how we process trauma and then how our society around us inflicts upon us how we are supposed to process trauma. There is not a one-stop shop answer to this, y'all. Loss, grief, trauma, there isn't one answer for any single person. And I think the part that I'm glad to share out loud is that I'm sharing out loud. And it is okay, in fact, to share out loud. We are allowed to say that we're sad, but we shouldn't sit in our sadness. And that was the part I didn't understand. I didn't understand at 13 years old what I needed to say out loud to help me process. And I'm sharing again this piece because I am writing more. This is my little shameless plug of getting out of my own way, getting over myself, truly, like getting truly over myself, which is, I've said this in my intro, and if you haven't seen it, go watch. I have a story to tell, and I truly want to help others while I tell this story. It is not just going to be a experience of perfection or whatever it might seem. It is going to be a journey of challenges, of mindset shifts, of changing my thought process. And I had this conversation today as well of, it is me battling and removing my conditioned mind so that my subconscious mind, my mind that as a kid told me, I could write that. I could write that and be published and be a successful writer. That has been what my mind has been telling me. So I am working on a book. It's a three book series, a coffee table series, something cute, but something important and something that I hope creates connection. And that is, I think, what we're missing right now in our space and time is connection, not transaction. We are missing the, hey, how you doing text messages, not the, hey, what can you do for me text messages. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for holding space for me, whether you wanted to or not. And thank you for liking, subscribing, and connecting in this moment with the Poindexter Effect. I hope that you will continue to stay with me. I hope that you will circulate our conversations. And I hope that you will enjoy what we have going on here. Y'all take care, and I'll see you soon.